my name is Hannah and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I am going to be talking about all the books that have been on my TBR list for over a year. To be honest, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this video. I was actually thinking of doing every single book that I've not read that's on my bookcase, and that is a lot. And this will be a 3-hour video, so I'm not doing that. So I worked out that I've actually got about 16 books that I've had for over a year that I've not read, which is still quite a lot, but what I've decided to do is split this into a 2-part video, because half of the books I realised were very intimidating books, and the ones that I look at and purposely go, another time, it's fine, I'm not ready for that. And then the other books I actually looked at and thought, why have I not read this yet? This is very confusing. I thought I would have read this straight away, and it's just probably because I've forgotten about it, but we'll see. As I said, I've not actually done a TBR video before, so I'm not quite sure what to do and what not to do. So I'm just going to go through all the books that I find very intimidating and just try and find out the reasons why. I was going to look up the story of the books and to kind of give a rough background of what it's about, but then I don't want to ruin it. That just defeats the purpose of actually reading it. To be honest, I think I've got the same excuse for all the intimidating books, so I may ramble, I may repeat myself, so I'm going to apologise in advance. And well, you know what? Any of the books that I've said that I find intimidating, comment below and encourage me to read one of the books this month. Challenge you to that, and I will make sure that I am talking about one of these books in my March wrap-up. Is that a deal? Handshake? Yeah, okay, we've done that. Yeah. Okay, let's get started. So the first book I've been putting off reading for a very long time is The Night Manager by John le Carre, and you may notice why I bought this book. It's so shiny. Now, just to give you a bit of background information, which will probably come up again in the other books. A couple of years ago, I really got into reading, and I also just started working a full-time job. So I was getting more money, and I decided to treat myself. I'm not really a clothes buying person, I'm more of a book buying person. So I would go into Waterstones and they would have all these beautiful books, and I think I got to a stage where I wanted to read more classics. So I just bought them for the sake of, I want to read them, or just want to have them. And yeah, that's backfired because I've actually not read any of these books. I'd seen a few episodes of the BBC adaptation of this book, which I really enjoyed, and everybody was talking about it and saying how amazing it is. I never actually finished watching it. I can't remember why, because I loved it so much. But that was kind of the reason why I bought it, because I wanted to see what it was like in book form, and also I didn't realise it was a book in the first place. So I think the main reason I've been putting it off for so long is when I actually bought it, I told my aunt, and my aunt was, she was very into literature, and she was kind of the main reason why I got into reading. She kind of taught me Shakespeare, and even though English wasn't my strongest subject at school, she did encourage me to read and actually make an effort, and I loved literature, I just wasn't good at the actual subject. Basically, I love books, but if you were to make me write an essay about why a character is portrayed in a book, I can't do that. I just can't. I ramble, as I do in my videos, obviously. So when I told my aunt that I bought it, she went, oh, really good book, but John le Carre is a very hard author to read. That instantly put me off, because I was scared I was going to start reading this book and instantly not know what was going on because of the way it was written. And I really shouldn't take these comments to heart, but that is the main reason why I've not read it. And yeah, also now looking back on it, I probably just bought the book because I like the cover, like shiny, and I had seen an adaptation of it on TV and wanted to compare it. That's probably it. I'm really bad for that. I'll watch a film or a TV series, realise there's a book, buy the book and never read it because I'll look at the book and go, what's the point of reading it? I already know what happens. I'm not going to be surprised what's going to happen at the end. And I need to get out of that habit. The next book is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Again, I think I bought this book around about the time I was making money, and I just saw all these classics and I just wanted to buy them because I wanted to expand on my reading. I was reading a lot of thrillers, a lot of contemporary books, and not actually read a lot of classics. And I bought it thinking, yeah, I will read this straight away, and I didn't. I think I put off reading a lot of classics because everybody hypes up about it and says how amazing it is, and I do want to read it, but I'm scared that I'll read it and I won't enjoy it. I think I've got this high expectation of what the book is going to be like, and I'm worried that when I read it, it's going to be a real disappointment, and that will kind of scare me and put me off reading other classics. So maybe that's why I just avoid it, because I'm like, if I don't read it, I won't be disappointed. But then I won't know if I'm disappointed until I've read the book. I do really want to read this. My aunt, who I just mentioned in the last book I just talked about, she sadly passed away a couple of years ago, and this was actually her favourite book, and I feel like I really want to read it to see why she loved it. That might give me the motivation to read it, actually. Yeah, I might read this next. Found the motivation. The next book is, gonna guess? You're right, another classic, Emma by Jane Austen. Again, that situation, had money, bought classic books, bought this beautiful book, and I was actually wanting to buy like the whole collection, but I had to stop myself because I've not actually read any of these hardback books. Again with Jane Eyre, I've heard good things about Emma, but I'm scared to read it because high expectations, and I'm worried that I'm not going to like it. I know that there's a lot of film adaptations of Emma. I've actually never seen any of them. So I would actually be going into this book not knowing what the story is. I just know that there's somebody in it called Emma. Another thing with classic books that I've noticed is that obviously they've been written a very long time ago, so the style of writing is a bit challenging for me. I like simple. I don't like complicated books. Probably the best example to give is in January I read Day of the Triffids, and I've heard really good things about it, but the style of writing was just, it just wasn't for me. I didn't like it, and again, I think that's another reason why I avoid classics. Another example actually, just remembered, I've just finished reading Catch-22. That is another example, but I'm not going to talk about what I thought about it until my March wrap up. I really shouldn't feel that intimidated because it's actually not a big book, and I probably just make too many excuses being like, no, I'm not in the mood for that, or not in the mood for a classic just now. I just need to stop making excuses. I make excuses for everything in my life, and obviously I've been doing that with books, so I need to slap myself out of that situation and just read it and get it over with. The next book on my TBR is Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. I really like Margaret Atwood. I've read The Handmaid's Tale and I absolutely love that book, and I only bought this book because, again, when I realised it was Margaret Atwood, had to buy it. Also, I just finished watching the Netflix TV series and I really liked it. Didn't realise it was a book, so I bought the book and I never read it. Told you I'd bring that up again. I think it's just a similar situation where I may have watched a film or a TV show, realised it's a book, bought the book and just never read it because I know what happens. I think the other reason why I've been putting it off for a long time, it is quite a big book. It's over 500 pages and it does take me a long time to actually pick up a book that big. Sometimes I might just be in a mood for a quick contemporary book, which is maybe 200 to 300 pages, and I can read that in 2 days. Whereas obviously a book this big, I need to invest almost a week because I'll, especially with big books, I need to take a break. I feel like I'm taking so much information in that I might need to put it down for like a day and not look at it and then go back to it. I do remember really enjoying the story of this, so probably in the near future I might just make myself read it. Now the next one is a little bit weird because I've got a weird excuse for when I want to read this book, and it's Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Again, same situation with Emma. Beautiful book, and I wanted to build up the collection, and I've read the play version of A Christmas Carol when I was at school, and I really wanted to read the actual proper story. One of the reasons why I think I'm putting it off reading this is because I actually want to read it at Christmas. I just keep visualising myself like coming in from work, sit down, get a hot chocolate, cozy up, bit of Christmas spirit in the house, and reading this. And I've been telling myself I'm going to be doing this for the past 3 years, and I've not done that. I was very close to picking this up last Christmas, but I think lockdown, my mood wasn't great, and I really wasn't in the mood to read at that point in my life. So I think I should have picked it up. It might have cheered me up during that time, but maybe next Christmas. Or maybe I just need to stop saying I'll read it at Christmas. I should just read it now. But it's a nice Christmas book. I don't actually have any Christmas themed books, so I kind of want to read it at Christmas and make it really nice and cute. The next book is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is even more shiny, so you might not see it because I've got this ring light. There we go. See? Shiny. This one obviously came from like a similar design collection as The Night Manager. Again, another reason why I bought it. Nice and shiny. And again, classic, wanted to read it and I've just not picked it up. Same situation. I saw the film, I loved it, I bought the book. But I know what happens in the film, so what's the point in reading the book? I need to get my life together. I have heard so many people raving about this book, and I know it's a book I will love. I'm actually getting angry with myself. I'm really disappointed at the amount of classics that I'm just refusing to read. It's not a big book. I could probably read it in a day. Kids read this for school. No more excuses. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe this shouldn't be a TBR video. Maybe this is a Hannah get your life together video. Maybe I should just do an entire month reading all of these books. I might have a classic month. That would be good. Just read classic books for the entire month. That would really help. Because then otherwise I'll just put it off. I'm really sorry. This has just turned to a pep talk for myself. This is the final book. And I am going to say the exact same thing. What is it? Correct. I've seen the film or the TV show, bought the book, but never read the book. And that is Trainspotting by Irvine Welsh. Same as The Great Gatsby, I've seen it and I really enjoyed it, but I'm scared to read the book because I'm worried that it's not going to be the same as the film, which again, it's a stupid excuse because majority of the time the books are better than the film. Also, this is based in Glasgow, so this is a Scottish book. And I'm really disappointed in myself as a true Scotswoman for not reading this book. Even though I'm Scottish, that was a really bad fake Scottish accent. If I was to give a proper excuse, there actually is a lot of drug use in the film, which obviously is going to be in the book. And I can deal with it in a film, but sometimes reading it in a book, it's very detailed and it actually kind of scares me. I wonder if anybody else has felt like that with certain books. Like in films you can see it, you can visualize it, but actually reading like the proper description of how something is happening, it can get quite gory. And I think that's what might happening in this. Again, I just might be presuming this. I won't find out until I've read it. And that is it. I feel like I've just rambled and just got angry through this entire video, and it's probably a lot shorter than my other videos, but again, I was just repeating myself over and over again, and I think it was just good to have like a wee pep talk with myself to stop making excuses and actually read these books. And I'm actually glad that I've done this, because it has given me the motivation to pick one of the books up next. So next week I will be doing a TBR of all the books that have been in my bookshelf for over a year that I'm surprised I've not read. A bit more than the ones that I've talked about today, and hopefully I will come up with better excuses rather than just purely avoiding them because they're classics and I'm worried I'll be disappointed in them. I feel like I do have valid excuses for not reading some of these books, but we'll see what happens next week. I may give myself another talking to and tell me to get my life together. So as I said during the video, if you have read any of these books, feel free to leave a comment below and tell me which one to read next, and I will read it this month, and I promise you I will read it. And all the other books I will probably read in the near future, very near future, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!